Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and I wanted to do a video and talk about this Venus retrograde in Leo. And so Venus is going retrograde on July 22nd. It's going to stay retrograde until September 3rd for 40 days, and it will go direct at 12 degrees 12 Leo. And so I wanted to talk about how these energies may or may not influence you when it comes to your spiritual journey. And so 40 days is a very significant number, right? And so Leo for me is the sign of the heart. And so this is going to be a very key Venus retrograde for those on the awakening journey. And I do feel many will be questioning, who am I? What do I want from life, right? When we truly know ourselves and we have a healthy sense of integrated Leo energy, and we know what we want, which is the Venus energy, we know our heart's longing, and that is always going to be our compass, right? The heart is always going to guide us not only to ourselves, but to that perfect divine partner. And so when we know what we want and we know who we are, then we are a very powerful person. And so this Venus retrograde, I feel, is a very transformational alchemical process for the Leo energy. And so what I find interesting is the retrograde will last for exactly 40 days. And so 40 is a very sacred number. It shows up in religion. It's associated with the energy of fulfillment of promises, fulfillment of the promised land, but after a period of testing, trials, tribulation, and even probation. And so when we think about the 40 days, Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, in the desert for 40 days. Buddha fasted and meditated for 40 days before reaching the pinnacle. And so we're in a trial retrograde period right now where I feel we are being guided back to our heart. So really pay attention to prominent Leo placements in your chart. If your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Jupiter, and North Node are in Leo, I feel you're in for a very transformational alchemical process coming up over the next 40 days. And so Venus is asking us to discover what really matters to us on the heart. And maybe that will require going in and feeling some past pain that's been avoided when it comes to some past heartbreaks, right? And so I do feel many are going to be forced out of their comfort zone coming up here. And we kind of have to jump into the void, into the unknown, as challenging as that is, so we can transform, right? And so I do feel this retrograde, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it. And it is really about coming into full self-actualization of what our heart truly desires, and to find the courage to go after what we really want in a healthy manner. And so we're kind of dancing with the Venus energy in the cosmic sky right now. And so if you go back to 8 years ago, Venus cycles are 8-year cycles. And so 8 is a very karmic number. 8 is the energy of what goes around, comes around. And so if you go back to 2015, a similar Venus theme is likely coming up again for closure, for completion. And so for me, it is the final completion of the karmic cycle with my ex. And so we're being given a chance to rethink things that have happened in the past. Do we want to keep going forward in the exact same ways, in the exact same areas of our life, or do we want to choose a different way? And so I do feel Venus does only go retrograde in 5 signs. When I started digging, I actually thought this was an interesting tidbit of information. It only will go retrograde in the sign of Aries. As well as, in the sign of Aries, in the sign of Gemini. I'm a Venus in Gemini, in the sign of Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn. And so I find this very interesting. So what is repeating in your life right now that was a recurring cycle about 8 years ago? I know my relationship with my ex, that was the very last karmic relationship that I will ever enter into. It was a painful lesson. It was a beautiful, painful lesson, and there are no regrets there at all anymore. But this same area of our life is coming back. That same energy is being reactivated in our birth chart. And so it's a repetition of what happened 8 years ago, maybe even 16 years ago, that needs to come up for clearing to be addressed. And so when Venus went retrograde the last time in Leo, it was from July to September of 2015. That's actually when I met my karmic. That's actually when we started dating, and we didn't conceive our daughter until the following winter. If you maybe want to go back to July and September of 1999, and so on and so forth, right? And so whatever happened back then in your life is coming up for clarity again. And so you might want to look through your memories on social media to figure out what was going on. I remember perfectly and clearly what was going on in my life back then. And so all of these themes are arising. And so, but the lessons are different, right? We're not learning the same lesson. Maybe a more integrated aspect of the lesson is coming up to be understood. And so we're going to be triggered, though, in that same area of our chart. Did you learn the lesson? So I do feel there's some sort of like history repeating itself this retrograde. Or if there was something that terrible that happened 8 years ago, that might be coming up for clearing or reconsidering at this time, so we can grow and we can evolve. Like, let's face it, I'm not the same person I was 8 years ago. I can't believe I actually started dating him 8 years ago. I can't believe it's been 8 years already. I'm not that same person that I was 8 years ago, and I'm sure he certainly is not the same person, or at least I would hope not. But I do feel we're reflecting on energies of the heart. We're reflecting on relevant themes in our lives that are needing our immediate attention, that, have been swept under the rug far longer than they should have been. And so we're going through a major reset and a major rebirth of the heart, I feel. And so the new Venus cycle won't begin until August the 13th, after the retrograde. And so use this retrograde to look at certain aspects in your life, certain aspects in your chart. There's like a 4-phase process, I feel, to this retrograde. And so the first phase is happening at the end of July, the 23rd, 27th, and the 30th, where we're going to have Venus going retrograde. We're going to have Venus conjunct Mercury retrograde, and we're going to have Venus in conjunct or quincunx Neptune at 27 degrees Leo. And so all of this heavy, concentrated Leo energy, I feel, is activating the inner feminine archetype of Persephone. And we all know Persephone journeyed into the underworld, and there is no other way to self-reflect at this time other than going into the underworld, or the shadow aspects that are important for us in our own journey, to identify all of those very strong underworld feelings, all of the shadow stories we've told ourselves, and to identify all of the underworld patterns that are no longer serving us. And so the Persephone energy is the first stage. And so when we go deep into the underworld, I do feel this is going to be the most intense part of the retrograde period over the 40 days. And this is where we purge, we shed our old skin, so we can be rebirthed. And so it's going to be pretty wild. It's going to be very uncomfortable, I do feel. And then the second phase is going to be like impossible to ignore. The second phase we're going to have on August 3rd through August 6th. Venus is going to become invisible in the sky. We're not even going to be able to see her in the sky. So she's going to fall below the horizon and into the underworld itself. On August the 8th, Venus will be conjunct Black Moon Lilith in Leo. That is also the Lionsgate portal, and that's going to be at 23 degrees. And then on August 9th, we're going to have Venus in Leo square Uranus and Taurus at 22 degrees, mastery, right? And so Venus is going into the underworld, and then we're going to harness that archetype of our dark moon Lilith, which is facing our shadow aspects. And the Uranus energy is calling us to break free from what we can no longer ignore. It's going to be impossible to ignore what we've been stuffing down. Phase 3, we're going to have Venus conjoining the Sun in Leo at 20 degrees. And so this is going to be where we really begin this transformation to stepping back into the light. On August the 14th, Venus is going to be trine Chiron at 19 degrees. On August the 15th, Venus will be conjunct the moon in Leo at 18 degrees. And then on August 22nd, Venus will be square Jupiter at 15 degrees in Taurus. And so this is going to get us into an even deeper part of the underworld associated with the archetype of Eve. And so I do feel we're going to be discovering who we truly are during this period. It is a potent time of manifestation. It's going to carry with it a similar vibration of planting seeds for the new moon. And all I want to say is be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for. Because you just might get what you wish for. And it might not be everything that you hoped for. I'm just saying. And then we're going to go into the archetype of Aphrodite during the 4th phase. And Aphrodite is the energy of unconditional love, right? And so when we rise like the phoenix, this is where I feel we're ready to stand into the spotlight. Leo is the spotlight. We're here to make an appearance. We're here to make a statement with our heart. We're here to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want. I know who I am. I know what I want. And so when we embody the archetype of Aphrodite, we're going into the energies of late August. August 23rd, Venus will be able to see Venus again in the sky. On August the 29th, we're going to have Venus opposite the moon in Aquarius at 12 degrees. And then Venus is going to be stationing direct. And so we're rebirthing the divine feminine right now. And so I do feel for the first 2 weeks of the retrograde, it is going to be very shadowy. It's going to be like falling deep into the underworld. And that is going to be the most intense part of the retrograde, the first 2 weeks. When we go into Venus conjunct the Sun, I do feel this is really going to shine a light on the mirror of where we need to take a long, hard, honest look at our core values, what we hold dear, and what we need to let go of in order to be reborn and to emerge as that new person. And so this is a call for all of us to let go of any values that don't work for us, that don't fit, any relationships that are linked to old patterns that just no longer serve us, to reconnect with the heart and to act from a place of truth, right? Truth, integrity, accountability. I was trying to say accountability and integrity at the same time. Your heart always knows the truth. And so the heart knows what's good for you. So listen to the heart. And I do want to say, this is also a time of healing from past pains, right? We have to be thankful for every single heartbreak that we've gone through because they were divinely planned. They were divinely ordained. And every heartbreak and person comes into our life to reveal another layer of who we are when they leave, right? And so many soulmates come into our life with the purpose to shake us up, to tear us apart, to maybe tear our ego down a little bit in order to show us any obstacles that keep us from reaching our fullest potential, to illuminate any addictions, so we can finally break our heart wide open. The light cannot come in until it's ripped wide open. And so the energy might make you very desperate over the coming retrograde, and things might seem out of control. But we have the possibility to transform our lives and to do us once and for all. So let's pull in with a few cards and see any other extra messages that may need to come through for the collective when it comes to this this retrograde, this Venus retrograde. Oh my God. The cards are flying dragon. So face the dragon, get the gold. That is the energy of facing your inner demons. And so we do have to be aware of self-delusion and where maybe you have been tempted to lower your standards and you've ignored the red flags. I do feel an exciting event is going to lead us all down to a new day, a new dawn, a new creative adventure, and a fresh start. And so I do feel we are entering collectively into a period of prosperity and abundance. Venus does deal with money, wealth, and beauty. And, ooh, wow. So somebody might have left your life. I do feel if you've been struggling in a situation since about May, I do feel that situation is coming to an end. There is going to be the end of a situation. Somebody is going to be leaving your life when it comes to a temporary housing situation, a temporary relationship. I think of like a tent, like that's temporary. There's really no permanency there. And maybe that person will need to leave your life before a reconciliation of a new dawn, a new day, right? And so there is great good fortune coming. But we do have to go in and acknowledge the heartbreak of what we no longer have in order to go towards what it is that we truly deserve. And so beware of self-delusion. I do feel this is going to be affecting the Aries rising collective most prominently with the dragon's head and tail. Something about the second house in Taurus, the 8th house in Scorpio, but there is definitely people leaving our lives, right? There's going to be endings. There's going to be cutting of cords, releasing all of these unhealthy attachments, and it's not going to be easy to go through this higher heart activation. So a heart awakening. And so in order to awaken the heart, we do have to go into ripping it open and feeling the heartache over what we no longer have. So what else needs to come through for the collective? Self-actualization just popped out in reversed all over that temporary situation. And so I feel there's been ignoring of the problems when it comes to a home situation, and there's a tower. The divine plan is at work here to get somebody to bring this into their heightened awareness. So if you've been stuck in a temporary cycle, and if things have been depressing, if it's really affected your prosperity and your abundance and your fortune, I do feel there's going to be an explosive ending in order to get some cords to be cut here. And so whatever karmic circumstances that you're kind of enmeshed in, it's going to intensify, it's going to come to the surface, and it's going to have to be addressed, because we can't keep ignoring the signs. We can't keep ignoring the warning signs. And so the divine is orchestrating a tower here to get somebody to go through a major wake-up call, I feel, so they can journey towards fulfillment. And so we can't go towards fulfillment holding on to the past baggage, right? The Fool and the Tarot leaves the whole past behind. We've dealt with it, we've acknowledged it, we've released it. Now we're ready for that clean, new, fresh slate for a new beginning. And so I do feel many in the collective, we're really feeling these energy shifts. We're feeling the Schumann resonance rising. And so all of these things have been shifting below the surface cosmically. And so there's going to be a tower moment, I feel. We're all going towards romantic partnerships now that will contribute to our growth. We're releasing the contracts that deplete us, that keep us stuck and stagnant. And I do feel a possibility for twin soul reunion over this Venus retrograde. And so I wasn't expecting twin soul to come through. Actually just did the twin flame weekend check-in before this, and I've cleared the decks. I've shuffled the cards, and so it does appear that this is a divine counterpart coming in. And so I do feel a major release, a major stripping away, shedding, to bring this high vibration love into the world. And so any visions that you're receiving right now, I do feel could be prophetic when it comes to acknowledging these old patterns so we can evolve. I feel big decisions are being made. With that comes distraction to get rid of all of these unhealthy choices. So it is a major time of reevaluation of these old patterns, a very uncomfortable evaluation, and we got to acknowledge the destruction too, so we can step into unconditional love. So I do feel a retrograde period of breakthroughs, finding solutions, transforming situationships, going towards unconditional love. But I do feel be prepared for a lot of criticism. There's going to be a lot of vengeful energy coming through to reflect back to us all what it is we still need to heal. Let's jump in with the tarot. Wow. Well, that certainly is maybe self-reflecting on a missed opportunity, wanting to go back to a missed opportunity. Retrogrades do bring exes back from the past, maybe somebody from about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I do feel there's been ghosting. There could have been ghosting here, but I feel healing from a core abandonment and rejection wound. There could have been telepathic communication going on during a period of transition of healing. I do feel somebody wants to come back in out from the cold that I feel didn't really want to look at this before, didn't have the strength to go into the heart to look at this. But somebody here is sitting in a whole lot of emotional nakedness, I feel, and all they want to do is drink from that cup that I feel maybe they abandoned this person. So let's see what's coming through for this Venus retrograde for the collective. Well, blocks are being removed. Heart chakra blocks are being removed, and there's a brand new beginning here. I do feel during this retrograde, Leo season, by the 8/8 portal, there is going to be a new beginning, but it's not going to be easy because somebody has not wanted to acknowledge a past ending, I feel, has not wanted to acknowledge a past heartbreak stemming around a divine feminine, a pre-empress energy. And so I do feel heart chakra blocks are being removed, guys. So let's do a 9-card spread for the collective. We'll see what else needs to come through for this Venus retrograde. Well, there might be an offer of love, an apology of some sort. The Page of Cups, the Lovers reversed for a poor decision. And there is the doorway, the possibility for twin flame union, twin soul union. I love it. Acknowledging the toxic patterns, breaking free from toxicity, breaking the chains of anything unhealthy. And the dead central energy is, this is what I want, right? Is this what's going to make my heart happy? This is the ultimate abundance. The 10 of Cups is emotional security, emotional abundance. Something about Venus and Saturn also in retrograde, and Leo and Venus, or Venus and Leo joining the retrograde. We have the possibility to take action towards manifesting our highest timeline, the life of our dreams, breaking the chains of toxicity from the past. And this is like the whole truth, nothing but the truth. This is the holy grail of truths, getting honest about a twin soul connection. We get the Queen of Wands, the 7 of Coins, and the 3 of Coins. So we've got a feminine here on fire. She is like just magnetically attractive right now. She's upright. Aries, Leo, Sag. And I do feel somebody here wants to apologize for an unwise choice in lovers in the past. This is the past. Somebody made an unwise choice, and now I do feel somebody wants to come back with an apology because the doorway opportunity is there to build a happily ever after. I actually really like this, and it will also lead to a 10 of Pentacles. The 7 and the 3 is the 10, and so I do feel we've got a feminine here who's already a visionary leader of some sort. We could have somebody in the spotlight, Leo, right? Could have somebody here that's, already famous or something of the sort. And this is saying the time is right to plant these seeds of loyalty, fruitfulness, and to put in the hard work. And there's that Mars energy, Capricorn energy. And I do feel the Pluto retrograde in Capricorn is bringing in a new opportunity to build these solid foundations. But first, we got to release the past grief, the past pain, any guilt or shame acquired from, some past poor decisions, some past poor behavioral patterns. And we do got to move on from the pain. We got to choose to leave the self-sabotaging behaviors behind us. And we've got to be willing to communicate the new higher vision. And I do feel somebody wants to return. They made a bad judgment call. And so there is going to be karmic repercussions playing out. And anything that was built on unsustainable ground is definitely going to be crumbling down. And so get ready for a major wake-up call, this Venus retrograde. But it is going to get you back on the pathway of manifesting your highest timeline. So I do feel over the course of the next 10 weeks, there is going to be a love offer coming in. And maybe when it comes to a twin soul that rejected you and ghosted you in the past. But I do feel somebody here is going full steam ahead, and she's planting those seeds for a 10 of Pentacles. With or without a counterpart is what I'm feeling. So let's take a look at the Palace of Swords, because this is like the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And a lot of people can't handle the truth. But I do feel whatever truth is being exposed, it's going to create friction. I do feel it's going to create challenges, and I do feel there's going to be a lot of outside opinions in the mix. But I feel somebody is ready to face whatever challenges they need to face when it comes to a missed opportunity. And ain't that the truth? I love it. Facing a past injustice. And so I do feel somebody's really been going within and recognizing their self-sabotaging behaviors, going through a period of truth, coming out of a state of denial, Virgo energy, Aquarian energy, and there's going to be a new opportunity for love. And I do feel there was some type of ending in the past due to confusion or maybe somebody having multiple options. But I feel victory is around the corner, and I do feel we've got to go into the bad judgment calls. We got to face it. We got to deal with it. We got to heal it. But we've got opportunity for brand new Holy Grail love on the table, getting our emotions in check. So I do feel get ready for unexpected communication from a divine counterpart, from a twin soul, because I do feel we've got a masculine here deeply hurting over what they no longer have, wishing that they never walked away from this connection. And so I do feel the past is coming back to be dealt with. We've got a masculine here that really didn't want to invest before, maybe because they just didn't have the money, they didn't have their shit together, maybe they were ungrounded, they were selfish. But I feel we've got somebody wanting to come in for victory and heart healing. Let's get one last message from Spirit. Wow. What else does Spirit want us to know when it comes to this Venus retrograde? Vulnerability is strength. Isn't that the perfect message? Vulnerability is strength. It absolutely is. True intimacy is truth and emotional vulnerability. Pay attention to the words and actions of others. If somebody's words are not aligned to their actions, that's a huge red flag. The relationship you are in is serving to teach you something important. And so I do feel recovery from a past heartbreak, and I do feel somebody wants to come in and reach a level of compromise. So are you ready to open your mind and your loving heart? Because partnership does require compromise. Trust your intuition on this one, though, too. Keep positive thoughts. I do feel as drudgingly as this retrograde is going to be, there's going to be amazing positive outcome on the other side. And that's what I got, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, I do encourage you to check out the description box below. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.